delighted to present this. I've not met Fred Wiseman, but I'm about to. But he's my cinematic hero. I mean, when I made my first documentary film, I wanted to make it just like Fred Wiseman. I of course failed miserably. But honestly, before I even knew about Fred Wiseman, the documentary filmmaker, I knew about Fred Wiseman, the tennis player. I grew up in Cambridge, and Fred Wiseman played tennis at the same place that I used to play. This scruffy set of courts, and Fred would come by. And I should say that when I was watching him, he never tried to end points quickly. He was out there for hours. And he always picked up on the important details of his opponents, always breaking them down, and that proved to be a winning formula for him over the years. Later, I was delighted to see that in talking about his films, about institutions and places, he would say that an institution provides the same framework that the net and the lines do on a tennis court. Fred Wiseman's films don't explain. They immerse you in places and institutions. But it would be completely wrong to say that they're fly-on-the-wall films. They're shot with the attention to detail of a poet and edited with the kind of rigor of an essayist. Over 40 films, you saw some of them here, from Titicut Follies to Hospital, Basic Training, Law and Order, Meat, Model, Crazy Horse, and many, many more. An extraordinary career. But two in particular seem worth mentioning. The one that had the most profound effect on me early on was High School. And, you know, I think one of the things that's overlooked about Fred's films is the kind of visual rigor that they have. And in High School, you see shots of the school, and though it's become a bit of a trope now, you really do get a sense of the school as factory, particularly in 1968 when institutions were trying very hard to gird themselves against the counterculture. There's a very powerful moment late in the film, which almost everybody here will probably remember, when the principal proudly reads a letter from a recent graduate who's a soldier in Vietnam, who says, I'm just a body doing a job. And the high school principal was presenting that letter as an indication of how proud he was of how this student wasn't really thinking about opening minds. He was really thinking about being a kind of manufacturing part for a military machine. It was a very poignant moment, but it had a lot to say that was very powerful about what our country was doing and grappling with. And it was very critical. It was powerfully critical. Now, almost 50 years later, Fred Wiseman has made a film, In Jackson Heights, that is so sunny in its embrace of the diversity of American life. It revels in colors and rhythms. You see the vegetables roasting in the carbon monoxide of busy streets under the elevated train, the siren song of the Mr. Softy truck colliding with the shouts of the greengrocer. But most of all, I was really struck by the scenes of democracy with a small d, the individuals and small groups of people trying to make a difference. And Fred Wiseman captured them with a kind of love that is absolutely palpable. And the film ends with the colors of the fireworks over the city on the 4th of July, a completely different kind of ending than High School, but one which is so ebullient, so optimistic. It was, it's really spectacular and inspiring. So upbeat in its rhythm and so curious. He's a wonderful filmmaker with a body of work that's been doing much more than a job. It's been an inspiration to me and to many of us. So it's with great delight I present this award to Fred Wiseman.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. And thank you, Raphael and Tom, for giving me this award. In making these movies is really fun. I mean, it's an adolescent's dream come true. You get to ride around in police cars and tanks, go up in helicopters, hang out, so to speak, with models and ballet dancers. It's really it's a great adventure. One of the most intriguing adventures I had was when I did a film at in the intensive care unit at the Beth Israel Hospital in Boston, and there were several scenes. It was a movie about how decisions were made to withdraw treatment from dying people. And so there were a couple of scenes shot in the morgue, and the guy that ran the morgue was very helpful. So the last day, I wanted to thank him, and I went around the hospital looking for him, and I found him in the cafeteria, and I thanked him for the help he'd given, and he shook my hand warmly and said, "See you soon." Thank you all very much.